Welcome to Letters to Louie with Abby Algiers. Welcome, Abby.
Hi, Sally.
We are taping this, recording this in the month of April, so the start of spring, hopefully, but it's taking a while here in Wisconsin.
Yes.
This letter that you've chose to read today to our viewers and share is titled In Sync, and it talks about your dad dealing with some of the technological problems that all of us are currently facing from time to time. And I think it's so relevant with what he writes. I mean, 10, 11 years later here we are in 2023.
Right, and I'm still dealing with the same issues on the same car, so
all right.
Keep that in mind.
Okay, let's hear.
Thank you.
Yep.
In Sync. Dear Louie, on this wet, cold afternoon, not all is bad. In fact, I have just finished a project which has vexed me for the past 2 weeks. I've been attempting to install the revised sync program for Dorothy's Ford. The electronic sync program of the newer Fords was a botched job, and the program was revised after many complaints. The new program was sent to the buyers with instructions for installation. Sending electronic instructions to anyone over the age of 75 is nonsense, as the neurons for these gadgets were only installed in fetuses after 1970. Before that, any conceptions were without a wiring diagram, and these new gadgets are not helpful, only a wart on the psyche of us older folk. Anyhow, I became so pissed, and that's another source of agitation. That P word is an outrage to anyone who thinks and tries for expression of thoughts, words, and actions. Well, I finally went on the search engine, read a few directives, and succeeded in the installation after 3 tries. Surprisingly, the new edition is simpler, more direct, and much easier to impact. For the first time, Ford has improved. I had written a scathing letter suggesting that of all the new features of the 2011 Ford, the sync feature was the lousiest feature foisted upon the purchaser. By gosh, they read it and had written back that a new program would be released during March. It was, and I am now pleased. It reminds me of the initial introduction to my office on A2. I was there from 44 to 45 and had an office where I was in charge of the coding machine and repair thereof. It so happened that the guy I replaced took the combination to the safe with him when he left for Philadelphia. For the next 6 weeks, I wrote to many naval agencies, wrote to him, and searched the office for the combination. Most fortunately, the war was near over. A2 was no longer a threat to anyone, and coding when ordering meat, groceries, and sunshine was unnecessary. I searched for the combination and spent hours running codes, recording code runs, and finally gave up. Eventually, I was able to open the safe when I placed 4 ones in a row and found that the safe had never been encoded. It was just a piece of furniture, looking important and getting dusty, something like the 25 other human pieces of furniture on the island. There was a hill on the island, a road up the precipice, and a dump where scrapped planes, trucks, and junk were dumped. Tons of war junk was dumped into what was known as War Bond Hill. Whenever we were down, we searched like rats into the piles of junk and then spent some time bitching about the waste of war. Frustration grew, snow fell, and we searched for a find in the junk, or more importantly, a reason for us to be there. We never found either. And now, when I think of those poor bastards who have spent 1 or more tours of duty in Afghanistan or Iraq, I think how much more the pile of war bond hills must be, but never have they found the reason for existence on duty in those remote, featureless countries, those reservoirs of war bond hills of this century. The bombs get bigger, the noise louder, and the costs higher, but still the blood runs red, and the politicians function with more righteous proclamations and more empty pant legs of the returning paraders. I recently read of the numbers of amputees and was sickened by the number and the thoughts of so many empty years ahead for so many young folks who would and could figure out the sync programs of Ford, much easier than my age group and I will ever be able. A warm, bright morning like yesterday never provokes thoughts such as the above, and the frustrations are only with a missed putt and an 8 on a par 5 hole. It's all about being in sync, Louie. Keep the faith, Jim.
Interestingly, I have a Ford, and I just had a problem with my vehicle. Just have nicknamed her Christine, so from Stephen
Nice.
King.
Perfect.
I find that in him talking about the amputees, that this is always in the forefront here. Still happening.
Right.
Still coming back. And all of our lessons in life are being repeated in that pattern of that.
Right. He kind of takes us through, pulls everything through from Atu to current day and just buttons it up and, brings
Right.
it to the forefront.
Right. And we had also done reflections with your dad, and a lot of that is reflection, but current again.
Right. It's kind of like a timeless message.
Right. And the takeaway from this is I hope that we can learn from our past
Someday.
right?
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah. And so, you're recording these, we're cataloging them. Your ultimate goal with this is eventually to have a book.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It is.
And that's exciting.
Yeah, getting a little bit closer every
Okay.
time I come.
Okay.
A little bit closer, but yeah, that's the end game.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and sharing
Thank
this
you.
letter. You're welcome. And to our viewers, as always, thank you for watching.